10 Nights of Dreams Commentary. The Terror of the Third Night. Why did the child on his back become heavy? The truth behind the century-old sin and the mirror. Introduction. Are you carrying the past or a sin? Have you ever wanted to run away from your own past? The third night of Natsume Soseki's 10 Nights of Dreams is the most eerie story in the series, and the one that most sharply confronts us with human nature. On a dark rice-field path at night, a man is walking while carrying his blind child on his back. However, the child sees right through the man's heart and coldly whispers, "You'll find me heavy soon." This time, we will dive deep into this chilling tale from the three perspectives of psychology, Buddhism, and contrast, ultimately unraveling the true nature of the weight of the stone Jizo that the man faced. Perspective 1. Psychological perspective, the child as a mirror and the repressed. The first is the perspective of psychology. Soseki describes this child as shining, like a mirror that reflected my entire past, present, and future, without omitting a single fact. In other words, this child is not an actual other person, but rather the embodiment of guilt repressed deep within the protagonist's psyche. In psychology, there is a concept called the return of the repressed. Inconvenient memories and sins that a person tries to forget do not simply vanish. They change form and reappear before their eyes. The more desperately the man tries to abandon the child, the more talkative the child becomes, blocking the man's escape routes. The faster you run to escape your shadow, sin, the darker the shadow becomes, clinging to your feet. It can be said that this child was the man's own inescapable conscience. Perspective 2. Buddhist and historical perspective, the trap of the 100 years contrast. The second is the meaning of time, seen through the contrast with the first night. In the first night, the woman told the man, "Please wait for 100 years." And the man continued to wait those 100 years for the fulfillment of love. The 100 years there was a light of hope. However, in the third night, the child accuses the man, saying, "It was exactly 100 years ago today that you killed me, wasn't it?" In contrast to the 100 years of love in the first night, the third night is the 100 years of grudge. Soseki's depicted the exact same unit of 100 years with such a cruel contrast. What is important here is the specific era name, the 5th year of Bunka. This suggests the continuity of historical karma, rather than just a simple dream. Even though we think we are living our own individual lives, aren't we actually continuing to carry the invisible karmic ties of the past? The terror of Buddhist karmic retribution, cause and effect, lies here. Perspective 3. Symbolic perspective, transformation into a stone Jizo and the gravity of truth. Finally, let's discuss the weight at the ending. The moment the man realized, "I was a murderer," the child suddenly became as heavy as a stone Jizo statue. Why a stone Jizo? A Jizo, guardian deity of children, is originally a Buddha of compassion who protects children and saves sinners. However, the moment he admits his sin, that symbol of compassion transforms into a weight of condemnation that crushes the man. The child, who was light as long as the man deceived himself with the lie of forgetfulness, bears down on the man as inescapable gravity the moment he accepts the truth. This weight is the very weight of the facts that the man must bear. To know the truth is, at the same time, to take on that responsibility. By expressing the awakening of memory as a physical weight, Soseki depicted the inescapability of sin. What are we carrying? The man in the first night was released from the spell of time and enveloped in the scent of lilies. In contrast, the man in the third night was pulled back by the spell of time to the memory of the murder he committed, losing any place to escape. Father, am I heavy? This question is not directed only at the man in the story. Don't we too have something on our backs that we pretend not to see in our daily lives? The third night that Soseki wrote might be a story meant to make us look once more into the mirror, at our own shadow that we constantly avert our eyes from.